Hey everybody, thanks for coming. My name is Nick Greenup, and I run Solid State Pinball Supply in Kansas City. This is Brian Haskell. He's working for us there at Solid State. As he's been a arcade tech for what, 30 years, 20 years,
Yeah, I
5 years.
started in '99 at Chuck E. Cheese and fixed my first pinball machine in 2002.
He joined us just as a volunteer for one of our Comic Cons, and now he's the tech in Kansas City. So we're really lucky to have him. I've been in pinball for about 15 years. I've had a pinball business for routing and an arcade for about 6 years. And I've been on a mission to try to increase the community participation. For me, it's all about the community, not the high scores, but it turns out the community wants high scores and they want it recorded. So what we did was Brian has turned me on to the IC connected world. I was kind of against it for a second. Didn't see the point. That's all changed. So what we found out pretty quickly is we needed a way for everybody to see their scores, compare their scores, sort of a community hub. So let me show you some of the things we've done. I'm going to show you first what we've done and how we use it, and then we'll show you how you can use it and how you can set it up. If you are already doing leaderboard displays, you might be using Yodeck, which is a fine solution. We have actually tried a whole bunch of different things, and Brian has figured out the best way, in my opinion, to manage about 16 displays across the city, handle them all from one device, multiple devices, have scheduled content where we can advertise our upcoming events, different community engagement things, the all of the Stern quests and leaderboards. And then the number one thing that we've done is make a combined leaderboard. So if you're familiar with the IC connected or leaderboards, they're per game. But what we found is we wanted a combined leaderboard of all the games in a location. So we do a monthly and a yearly.
So while he's doing that, what you guys might see me doing fiddling here, this is a brand new bought last night from Walmart on TV 4K Google TV streaming box, and I'm going to be demoing it. So while he's talking about that, I'm literally going to hook it up, let it boot up. So we're going to be doing this hopefully live as long as the internet behaves.
Yep. And then at the end, we're going to give this away. So stay till the end if you're interested in that. So what I brought up here is just sort of our. Oh, come back. So our community hub. Um, this is just sort of the Kansas City Pinball page. We pull in all the map data from Pinball Maps. We display our leagues with location websites. We've got all of our monthly tournaments on there, women's stuff, links to the IFPA calendar, and then eventually we link to our leaderboard hub. So let me show you that. So this hub is actually available on any device that has a web browser. It looks great on a phone, and that's how most of our players use it. But what this shows you is all of the locations, all of their leaderboards, their past leaderboards, their yearly leaderboards, etc. If you want, you can come to the top here and search for a player. And that's going to show you here at the top any leaderboard that has that player name. And you can quickly go to that leaderboard. If you would instead like to view just a full leaderboard, this is sort of the view you're going to get. Overall rankings at top. So what we do for these overall rankings is we take each game and it's weighted at a max of 100 points. So if you get first place, you get 100 points on that game. If there's 7 games, the best you can do is 700 points. So it gives people something more than a game specific leaderboard. And what we found is it increases the play of games that maybe not aren't that popular at a location. We have a specific member as an example. He never played Foo Fighters. And then Brian caught him putting 10, $20 in Foo Fighters and asked, what's up? And he said, well, I'm never going to get on the top of the leaderboard if I don't play this game. So there's $20 we would have never had in that game just because of these overall leaderboards. All of the things that we've implemented since this proof of concept were from the players. We've been using it for over a year, so it's tested. They love it. I'll show you some of the things we've added at request. So kind of like that search, if I select a player name, it instantly highlights that player in the overall rankings. And then if I scroll down, all of the individual leaderboards have been narrowed down to just that user. A quick way for them to see where they stand. We've added some other things by request here. It says score 151 million to move up one place or 214 to move up five places. So they instantly know what they need to do to reach that next level. That's on a per game basis. If I clear that filter, you'll be able to see the rest of the leaderboards. And again, this is all accessible without an account. It works great on mobile. We've also added a few other features that were asked for, like this QR code. We don't actually store their QR code on our server. It's all on your local device. So we don't control it in any way, but it gives them a quick way to sign into a game without having to sign into the Stern app or the Stern website. They can just use this, which they're already in every day anyway. Let's see. More links here. So in addition to those web views, we also have a bunch of different wrong one. Bunch of different display screens. So here's a kiosk view that's produced by that dashboard. This is of the games instead of the overall. But if you notice at the bottom, there's some stuff scrolling across, and near the first players on Jaws and King Kong right now, you can see a little arrow with a 4 and 5. That's showing that they recently moved up that many places within the last 24 hours, and that value can be changed to an hour or whatever you need. The bottom is just sort of, and this is simulated right now, but it's telling you the username and if they just joined a specific leaderboard and with what score. Just kind of some more things to call out the users and let them know that they got a good score and we're seeing it. And if they're brand new, they might not show up on the top 10, but they can still show up in that ticker as a new player.
Has anybody here seen a leaderboard that has only 3 games or 5 games or 9 games? If it's not a multiple of four, right now it doesn't display well on the stock leaderboards.
So you can notice now that one only had two because we had an odd number of games. So this one then fills the display with the two. It is right now, it's going to be configurable in a different way, but right now it's by the URL. So you could put in arguments. So if I change this to two per page, now every screen is going to be two per page. Um, just avoid having one small skinny leaderboard on one view. If you notice there at the top, last night I couldn't put this thing away and I just kept on adding new features. And we've got the number one score for each of the games at this location and the player name there at the top that just stays regardless of which game we're looking at. All the things like the scroll and the slideshow are all configurable for how long you want each to take. Uh, if there are more people than 10, you can enable it to scroll but keep the game title there. So we can actually see up to 20, 30, 40 players depending on how long you leave it on each slide. Let's see what else we got.
While he's doing that, what you guys are missing me fiddling with is just getting my account signed in and getting us on the Wi-Fi for this device new out of the box.
So here what we're looking at is that same kiosk URL, but without the argument for games. So it's showing you the overall leaderboard. Again, this has a bunch of configurable options with how many people you want to show, how many columns you'd like to show, how fast it's moving. Um, and again, the top is showing the top 3 overall for this month. And of course, this is pulling from Stern. So if you set your event in Stern to be 1 month long, that's what you'll get here. So if you want to do a day event, whatever, you can do that same thing. Just give it that ID for that event, and this will do everything else. The goal would be to maybe, if people are interested, and we've had a lot of interest over the last year, but we've just kind of been working on it and keeping it local. Um, the idea would be you would sign up for a free account and you can create these dashboards easily. The other option is I'm happy to release any of this stuff to anybody that's into coding stuff and wants to modify it themselves. See somebody maybe. So I was just waiting until after this seminar because again I was working on it last night and this morning, so it's even better now. But we'll continue to work on it. But I'm happy to share as I've been kind of talking to people about this for the last year and overhearing conversations, I've actually found three other people that are doing similar things with some really cool ideas, and we've bounced stuff back and forth. I've added that ticker and the up arrows because I saw it on another guy's implementation. And his name is Mark Rowe, and he's allowed me to share his stuff too, which I'll show you here in a second. He's done some really cool stuff with that's kind of more for the operators as well, just showing coin drops over short periods of time, like 15-minute increments and stuff like that. Just a lot more data, a lot of dashboards. He's also pulling from all the Stern data. Um, Actually, since I brought it up, let's show his as well. So here's kind of what he. This is where you could put in your ID and use his leaderboards. He's just for this expo. He's turned this on for everybody and said I could share it. So we'll open up the Expo leaderboard with his software, and you can kind of see there's a lot of similarities, some differences. Um, we both are using completely different backend technologies, but we're going for the same goal. Um, I can share this link with anybody after as well. He's going to allow that.
While he's doing that, I know my little screen here is pretty small, but I overlook something. Every time you buy something new, what does it have to do first now when you connect to the internet? Update. So this thing is now going to sit here and do an update.
All right. Some of the other things that we've used these leaderboards for are, someone's having a birthday party. We'll throw on an animated video saying happy birthday for them. And then we've been playing. So we use pinball maps, IFPA API, every API we can that involves pinball. So what you're seeing here was a quick proof of concept we threw together for sort of ESPN style player profile cards. They're pulled from IFPA, right? Just pulls their picture, their initials. Because we're in Kansas City, Missouri, we have a lot of Kansas and Missouri players. So it's really focused on our local community. So I'm mostly pulling players from Kansas or Missouri, showing their current rankings and their stats. Just another cool slide to throw in your leaderboard displays so we're not just always looking at the same leaderboard. Let's go see what else we got. Yes. They're auto-generated from the IFPA profile or the API, and then I am caching the data so we don't have to hit it every time, but if it's available, it will go ahead and update. Let's see. So another thing that we've implemented, it's not super pretty for any of, I know there's some designers in the crowd. This is my attempt to get something live. So we wanted to recognize the last month's players. We do a monthly women's, a monthly main. We do this Sunday service, which is an early morning classics tournament where we do coffee and donuts and stuff. So this is a place where we can show the previous winners from those last month's events. On the left, we show the top few, and then on the right, I picked this one because it's the only one I won. Uh, on the right, we see the rest of the players that played in that event. So just another way to show we have a lot of people, they're having fun, they're participating in events and recognizing their placements.
So on the basic level of what he's showing there, at the end of the URL is where he changes the IFPA tournament code. So
Yes.
you, you all don't have to know any coding at all. All you have to do is pull up the tournament IFPA, copy that number that's at the end of the link for that,
Yep.
and put it on the end of this link.
Yeah, it works a lot like the Stern leaderboards. It uses the leaderboards use the ID of the event. This uses the ID of the event, but it's from IFPA instead of Stern. Um, we like to play with other people's data, obviously, but we're trying to bring everybody's scores into a central place. And we would love to incorporate older games if that becomes a possibility. I know this year at Expo, there's been a lot of talk about new things happening with leaderboards, with Scorebit and Insider Connected. It's really exciting. I didn't know all that was happening when I signed up to do this. So it's pretty cool that everybody wants this.
Barrels of Fun and Spooky were both talking about they're doing their own leaderboards too. So we're going to make it where we can put in Scorebit on this and put in hopefully Spooky and Barrels of Fun. I've been speaking with them. So it doesn't have to be just your Stern games that are showing up on the aggregate leaderboard.
Yeah, and I do want to call out Stern for, starting this Insider Connected. Like I said before, I wasn't a believer at first, but I'm a big believer now. It's really changed everything for us. If we could get all the games, that would be fantastic. But just having the now everybody wants more and more Sterns at all our locations, of course, right? We got one location they only want new Sterns, so that's a bit of a problem for us. But we like the excitement. A lot of new players coming in because of Insider Connected. They see that leaderboard at the bar or wherever they're at, and they're like, "What's this?" And part of what we do is put slides in these displays that show them. It's all from Stern. They've created some great content. We use their videos, we use their slides for how to sign in, how to get an account, what is this. So we just put those in between our other leaderboards and things like that. Um, Lost my place. So one of the things that Brian did was set up a million TVs in his office and connect every single box to it that he could find, and try everything, the Yodex and the Fire Sticks, and he'll talk a little bit more about that. But this is what we found works the best, but it is not required to use anything that we're doing. It's just the easiest because you can schedule content, you can change it from anywhere. We have groups. So let's say we're having an IFPA certified tournament. We move over that group that has all of our slides that we like to run during our tournaments, which is most of the time the match play leaderboards and things like that. But anything else that has to do with that tournament, all we have to do is assign that one group. And then when we're done with the tournament, we just assign the group that was there before and we go back to our normal ad system. So it's really easy for us. And we can even do it remotely from our phones. How's that coming? Still updating.
Still updating. We have a backup in case that doesn't work anyways. I took a video of setting this up so that we can go through that if we need to. So being able to quickly switch and throw the IFPA tournaments on there for our top players, that's something that's I found really important. So they don't have to worry about pulling out their phone every round. It just shows the big picture mode on there. And this box, by the way, it's the 4K streaming box. While he's pulling that up, Walmart sells several different tiers of Google TV. The $14 one is just HD. It does not work well with this at all. So you need the 4K one. It's $19.88. It's cheaper. Yodeck wants $75. They'll give you one for free, but $75 for each additional, and that's just a Raspberry Pi with a power supply and a case. So I've also done Pi signage, which is free for two devices, and you put it on any Raspberry Pi. This is free for as many devices you want for the AbleSign that I'm about to show you when we're.
Yeah, so we have, I don't know, probably like I said, 15, 16 displays across the city. So having an easy system that's free, doesn't cost to add displays was very important to us. It runs on almost every device. I mean, if it's an Android TV, a smart TV, or you've got a Raspberry Pi or something like this, you're good to go. It's AbleSign's totally free. Um, I love the company. I get nothing from it. I've even reached out to them asking to give them money, and they said they don't want it. I told them about this seminar. They want it. They didn't care. Had no part of it. So you can buy extra storage. That's the only way to give them money, but you won't need it. So like I said, we have 16 displays and all these groups and all these videos uploaded. They're all stored on their server, and we're at like 20% capacity. So there's plenty of free space as well. We've even converted some of our friends that have businesses with menu signs and things to this system because they were paying monthly fees for basically a menu that looked like it was made in Microsoft Word. Um, with this, you could, if anyone's familiar with Canva, think tools like that, you can make your slides in there. You can even use the Canva share link to as your slide, and when you update it on Canva, your slide is updated. Or you can download it and save an image out of Canva and upload it. Um, One of the things that we really like about AbleSign is just that anyone can control it. I can give the keys to somebody else if I need to. If we've got someone running a tournament at one of our locations, we can let them log in and change everything they need to get the match play up there.
And actually, there is an option to add guest or somebody else to your account. So you don't have to give out your password, but you can give somebody else access. The only downside I found of that is they can't have create an AbleSign account first with their, so they have to like delete their account, I guess. But you can have more than one user account to access all of your screens you've set up.
Before we get into more of the AbleSign stuff, does anybody have any questions about the leaderboards? Yeah.
Do you in any way verify the data that's coming in, or do you just rely on the source of the supplier?
I didn't hear the first
Do
part.
you verify in any way the incoming data?
No, we're taking what Stern has, and we're actually adding timestamps to it to do the ticker and the up arrows so that we know when it happened, and we're just pulling it every couple minutes to see. Actually, it's set pretty high right now, just so I don't hammer their servers for no reason. But we go ahead and we timestamp each one based on when we pull it, and that's how we do the 24-hour periods.
I don't think this is what you're asking about, but the one thing we're going to be verifying is when we bring in Scorbit. Scorbit's working with us on, they're redoing their model where we can get Scorbitrons for free, the device you put in your, like in your back box to read the information. But until we get that going, you can print off QR codes on your games that aren't Stern Insider Connected games. And anybody just takes a picture, well, scans that QR code, it'll take them to the app or take them to download the app. And then once they've got the app, it brings them the app, then they have an option to take a picture of their score and then they manually enter their score. So we would verify the winner at the end of each month where whoever's at the top of the aggregated leaderboard, that person can win like one month would be like a $60 pass
For
month
like a
pass.
monthly membership for our arcade. So
So
we verify that winner.
yeah, that winner will look at their pictures and make sure the scores they entered are what they took in the picture. That's as close as we're going to come to.
I just wanted to add on to that idea about using like maybe two-factor authentication for that QR code to have another person who was there put their user account and they can get some MFA token or something and add that and then say your score has like a special mark that says it's verified
Verify.
by that other person. So
Gotcha.
it takes like one less part of it, or at least adding more authentication and verification by having another person or two people or how
Absolutely.
many people around it verify that score.
Yeah, I can see that being very nice, especially when it's not coming from the Stern IC, IC, because we're a public location. They don't have keys. They're not in the glass. But when we're taking scores from pictures and typed in, yeah, verifying. That's a very good idea. I'm gonna probably do that.
I have a question. Can you clarify uh, the you have a players group for Kansas City
Yeah.
and how many different operators are supportive of that group and are involved in this
Oh,
type of thing?
I would say probably about five operators. So all of the locations I showed you on the hub today, those are all our locations. But we're very open about the community. We want everybody to go everywhere, and anybody that wants to be on that Pinball KC website as a featured location, all they have to do is keep their games reasonably, up to snuff. Like they have to work, and then we can feature them on there. And if they want their leaderboards on there, no problem at all.
And do you have any issues with operators about the ad slides or anything that might, they don't want that showing on the board in their location?
I got you. Like the owners of the restaurants and things like that. We
Yeah.
haven't yet.
Actually, Fringe did complain. We've got a Fringe Beer Works brewery where we were putting on their videos that they were putting on their website with their like weekly brew, and they for some reason tell me, we didn't really make those videos in the way we want them on your screen, and so I pulled that off. And they,
Easily, yeah, it's easy to
yeah,
pop it off.
I didn't. The thing, he sent me a text message, and because what we put on there is web based, which I'm going to show you a second, I just right there immediately, I opened up my phone, went to tv.ablesign.app, and then just for the group setting, just pulled that off like that. I was able to instantly change it.
So, so one thing about that is it's another reason why we use this device because we found it was for the locations, it's the best because they power on things. The TV comes on, this comes on, AbleSign opens and goes right into the slideshow, which means your locations don't need to find a remote and turn on three things and go to an app and open it. So this box lets us just do everything automatically, which is what he's going to show you.
I think you might have just answered my question because that was it. I have a couple of Yodex,
Yeah.
and when you shut the TV down and load it back up, it just boots right up, and it's
Yeah.
great. And you're saying that this unit will be able to do
Yep,
that.
you can configure it to do that, and he's going to show you that.
There are a few steps you have to do at the end. And if you have a Fire Stick or Fire TV that's, I think 7 or 9 version or older, to make that work, you've got to, I'm sorry, older, like I think 8 or 9. The newer ones, you have to actually ADP into the device. It's part of why I don't use Fire Sticks for this anymore. But there's 2 settings you set, and it'll fire right up.
Hello. I'm currently using Pi signage and Raspberry Pis for televisions in my location. It's just one location, but I have like 6 displays in there
Great.
that display different information. Some of those displays are oriented in a portrait mode, so they're vertical. Will this also do portrait?
Yeah.
His
So
menu board. When you walk into Nick's Arcade,
Yeah.
you walk right up, right behind where we're ringing up. There's a portrait menu board there, and he's even animated the transition. It's beautiful, but we've got 2 pages. One that shows the rates for buying your playtime, and another one that shows our snack prices. And the great thing about that is when he's like, "Hey, we need to change that price," he don't even have to come in. He can go on the website and quickly do a quick edit to that image file that he made. Actually, it's a video for his because he animated it. But he can just change that price on that file, resave it, upload that to AbleSign, throw that on the playlist, and bam, it's live right there. He didn't even leave his house.
yeah, and as far so the device can handle it, no problem. And my leaderboards themselves, they are responsive. So I haven't done a lot of testing with them vertical, but they will like they look on like it'll shrink down or stack. And I'm happy to implement more if you see yourself using leaderboards vertically. Like I can focus on that for sure.
Yeah, actually, it works really well to put a portrait display right above a pinball machine, so I can put
Yep.
a leaderboard above each of
Sure.
the new sterns
Yeah.
that's showing, and they fit really perfectly if they're in a vertical orientation.
Yeah, and in a scenario like that, I didn't quite get it polished enough to show it today, but last night I started making a single game display that was way more beautiful, showing some of that. Stern has a lot of the assets available, right?
Right.
Like you can see, well, I just took it down, but the title cards and the gradients, and they also have game machine like photos of the play field. So I was working on something that would work perfect for that, showing the leaderboard and then their branded stuff along it and around it, make it look real pretty instead of just a bunch of text.
Yeah, exactly.
So you talk about Raspberry Pi. I've got a Raspberry Pi here that has Pi signage set up. Got one here that's got AbleSign set up. AbleSign is one of the most expensive options that's free for the first device, free for the first device to be set up on their account. So if you own your own device, you can test it right now if you got a Raspberry Pi. But once you go to a second device, then you're actually paying each month. I believe it's now $9.99 per month. You said you're running 6 of on Pi signage. Is that correct? And Pi signage is much cheaper after you go past 2. But uh, both of them have options where you can do much more dynamic things. This AbleSign that we're going to be showing, it is simple and very easy to use. So it doesn't do one of my tests I did with was it Yodec? I set Yodec. Sorry, by the way, guys, I talk way too much, so I've lost my voice. I apologize. So if you can't hear me, somebody just give me a thumbs up to go louder. But I was able to make 2 portrait single game leaderboards and get a layout going where on one normal landscape screen, it was playing the portrait leaderboard on one side, the portrait leaderboard for the second game in the middle. I put one of Stern's portrait videos, and the 3 of them pretty much lined up perfectly on a landscape screen. That is not something we're going to be able to do for free on AbleSign, but that situation I used in an arcade that had 2 games for a little while, and then we ended up with more games online, so I never needed it again. What was that? So Yodec is free for 1. Oh yeah, that is part of the free program. Yes, it's in their layout settings. And I'll tell you what, Yodec is not nearly as simple. I could not tell you on a stage how to do it without showing you and spending like a couple hours. This I'm going to be able to show you guys in about 10 minutes. So
You're sign in there.
hey, yeah, I'm going to get to my sign in while we.
So he mentioned the signage that we have when you walk into the arcade. That's just another time where you can use this same system. Um, I think that it could be expanded to a lot of different things. We've talked about putting a projector and putting stuff up on the windows. So all that's possible with this, and you can you can use a website. So if you're into making your own stuff and you want something that it doesn't give you, make it in a website, put that URL in it, and it's going to work. Another thing I don't think I've mentioned is this. Well, AbleSign is actually what enables it, but AbleSign will cache all of the data. So if it's a live website that has to hit an API, you'd need to put in your own caching for it to still work. But if it's a video, a picture, anything like that, it's cached to the device. So in this case, it would be cached to the on device. So if you lose internet connection, it's still going to work. It's still going to slide. It's still going to load all that content. Now, like I said, websites, if they don't have the internet, they may or may not work. There's even a web player. So any device that has a web browser, you're able to open player.ablesign.tv, and that is now a screen. It'll give you a code. You go into your AbleSign account, put in that code. I could make this laptop a display in my account and test content on it. There's just a lot of really cool things you can do. And even that web browser version, depending on your operating system, it'll store, like, I think I checked on this MacBook, and it will store up to 500 megabytes in local storage. So you're probably never going to be putting that much stuff on one slideshow. But if you do, it's gonna be there. How are we doing on that?
We're up and running.
Okay. You want to go into it, or should I show
Sure.
them AbleSign, or what do you want to?
Yeah, let's.
You want me to get AbleSign up on here?
Yeah, let's do AbleSign. So there's two steps to setting this up. There's one that's on the device, and there's one for your AbleSign account. So we're gonna first show you the AbleSign website and get all things set up on there.
All right. So here you're. I was just already going through the groups, but
I have a test account that's a little bit more clean. Do you mind if I? Sorry, guys. I made a new account just for showing you guys. So because this one that we're looking at right now, it is set up with everything that we've done. And you can see in these groups, we've made a ton of groups. And this allows us to easily, for different arcades, like here's a Fringe portrait group. And we have a portrait TV and a landscape TV set up at Fringe. By the way, these TVs, they do not need to be 4K, but 720 TVs, they don't look so good. But I have bought several from a thrift shop for like $5-10, just a 1080p TV used. We've found people in their garage have said, "Oh, hey, I've got this old TV." It nothing special. It doesn't need smart or anything because this is your smart device. Might as well, I'm here. There is a preview button. I know it's looking pretty small there, but you know what? I'm gonna try to zoom in. The preview doesn't work very well for landscape content, but it does let you kind of get an idea what your display is going to look like. So as it brings up this leaderboard, because the preview's still, sorry, in landscape, not portrait, it's not looking quite right. But it's at least a way to just make sure I put the right leaderboard on, because I've done that before where I've had Fringe call me and turns out like, hey, I've got Nub's leaderboard on my screen. What's that all about?
a lot of times when I'm setting up new stuff, I'll just in my living room send it to the TV and instantly preview it. Because as soon as you hit save, it's there. Um, you could even have a vertical and a horizontal TV in the same space and have it loaded on both of them, no problem. You want to show them your account?
Yeah. So I'm going to sign into the one I made just for this real quick, guys. Or not, I'm sorry. I'm not so good with trackpads. I got it. Log out. There we go. While I'm doing this, I have actually gotten this to run on Raspberry Pis before. It is done by getting an Android SD card made for the Raspberry Pi. And then I just download this app off the Play Store there. It doesn't run so great, but on a Raspberry Pi 4, it's a slow to boot up and stuff, but it will display this. So if you've got a bunch of Raspberry Pis and we convert you, we evangelize this enough, you're like, I'm doing it. That's a way to do it.
Yeah, and if you've noticed the box, I've been carrying around this box. I think it's down at the end there with the display on it. I've been hauling that through the Expo to advertise for this seminar, and that's all running on a Raspberry Pi, local web server on there. Doesn't need the internet. So if you need something like that, you can do it. Now the leaderboards aren't going to update in real time, but the way we have it done is if you connect to the internet for even a short period of time and get the new data, then you can just continue. So I just pulled the Expo leaderboards from earlier this morning, and that's what I'm displaying.
All right, so I have zoomed it up a little bit, so it's hopefully a little bit easier to see. Once I get this all going, we're going to add a screen, but if you can see at the top that there's just 4 simple tabs. Content, this is where you load, sorry guys, this is where you load any pictures or video that you want to put on there. And for operators, Stern has a Stern Army Cross IC website where, I'm sorry, Dropbox. Sorry, thank you guys. Where you can download pre-made videos. Everything that I've got here right now, I got this picture from them. So I clicked on this content and I can schedule when it starts and schedule when it ends. So I've got this one ending at midnight on the morning of November 1st, because that's obviously when this expires. And I can, if I've got the November one early, I can get uploaded and I can schedule it to start on November 1st at midnight, and it'll automatically switch over. So I don't know if anybody here is operating leaderboards where they've done the simplest way where you just have a web browser on your TV. You have to be at your location on the 1st if you're doing monthly leaderboards, or if you're doing these, putting up these ads for their seasonal quests. You've got to be there on the 1st. Not anymore. We can schedule this now, and it's very simple to schedule.
Another great thing that we use scheduling for is if we want to quickly add the match play screens and we just have only that slide, we set it to like 9,000 seconds, and then we have it expire at the end of that day, so that when our staff comes in the next morning and turns everything on, it's not just stuck on match play. It's already on, just in case we forget to take it off or change the group. That's a quick way to have stuff fall off.
And this is a simple video that Stern has on their Dropbox. I found that having videos intermittently play makes your device look alive. So it's not just static images.
Yeah, and Stern's done a great job producing this content, so we might as well use it, right?
So content tab, that's just where you have your images and video files. Screens is where you have all of your screen devices. And then groups is where basically playlists is what this would be called. So I've got just on this demo, just one. When we were signed into an account, you saw we had a couple dozen playlists. We had a playlist for the menu screen. That's the portrait one that was just showing our prices. We've got 2 for one of our locations where we've got multiple screens going. I even made a playlist that can play videos, because we had a TV for a while just sitting on a table in the like relaxing area of his arcade, and I had it just playing YouTube videos. Now, you can do embedded YouTube videos and play it full screen, but it requires to be muted. That's a YouTube thing for some reason. But you can set a link for when you're sharing a YouTube video to have closed captioning on. So it just has closed captioning, and pinball tips playing from YouTube. But you can also just download videos and put them straight on there if you want.
Another cool thing you can do with this on device is you can, can't you put on Twitch on it?
Yeah, we've put Twitch on. Again, it's muted, but you can put Twitch on there.
Yeah, so if we're streaming in the arcade, we can have like the big TV that everyone can see the most, that will have that stream live on there. And the whole we're not streamers, but the community loves to be on camera. They love that interaction. It's really fun. So seeing that lets them know instantly, if I go play this game, I'm going to be on stream, and I can tell my friends. We've even had some local content creators and streamers that have nothing to do with pinball come in, see it, tell their whole community, come watch me. I'm in this arcade playing pinball. So that was pretty neat.
I can't remember. I want to Insider Connected. So what we're going to do now is I'm going to show you how to get your leaderboard from Insider Connected and copy that URL onto AbleSign. So I am going to assume when I'm doing this that you guys know how to set up leaderboards on Stern Insider Connected, but with the announcement of home leaderboards, is there anybody in here who doesn't know how to set up a leaderboard, or who? Okay, cool. We don't have to worry about making some new ones. So I sign in. I'm going to click on these 3 dots here. I'm going to go down to Pro Portal. For the home, it's going to say something like Game Room Pro or something like that, but it takes you to something very similar. Now, when it's done loading, I'm going to bring up, I think I'll do the Expo one since we're here. So I brought a bunch of home games because I kind of addicted to home games. Oh, nope, I got that the other account. So we're going to do our arcade, solid state. So I click on that location. Again, we're using a mobile hotspot. Internet here is not great. Sorry about that. So once it comes up, it's going to have options of two different links to click on, portrait or landscape. In reality, when you click on the portrait one, it just adds the and portrait at the end of the same link. That'd be great if our internet just crapped out right here. Oh, there you go. All right, so at the top here, it says leaderboards. So we're going to do, oh, we do both yearly and monthly leaderboards now. And one of the things that I don't know if you showed is his system can have it where when somebody logs in, they can see both the monthly one going on and the yearly and be able to see their names on there so they can see how they're doing right now and how they're doing for the whole year stuff. Monthly works great. If I know different operators do different periods on their leaderboards. You said you saw one that was going to like 2060 or something like that. So just basically just have it on forever. The problem with a forever leaderboard is it gets static. When you get a player who's a national champion and they put up crazy scores, no one's going to even bother trying anymore. So monthly makes it fresh every month. And I'm telling you, at the beginning of the month, some of our more average players, they'll come and like, I got on leaderboard in the first, this may be the last time I'm there, but I'm there. And you lose that if you do, yearly or forever. But on this, there are some locations that are so slow, so few people bother signing in that, yeah, we've got to do something like quarterly or yearly.
One thing that reminded me of our leaderboard app. If you've ever noticed, if you have a location and you're displaying leaderboards, there might occasionally be a username you'd rather not be there. Some things get through Stern's filters, and it's understandable because there's so many different ways, and people use numbers instead of letters, and just all this stuff. So rather than just changing it to a bunch of asterisks or something, I wanted to have fun with it and mess with those people a little bit. So we have custom switching of usernames to make them funny instead of offensive. So that's just another thing built in for fun.
Stern will prevent you from doing obvious offensive ones, but our players get pretty creative where it's very obviously offensive, but it doesn't get past their filthy filter. So what I've done is I clicked on the link.
On the mic.
Oh, sorry. I clicked on the link for the landscape leaderboard, and now I'm just copying the link address. So we just click on websites, and I'm just going to click on Ab website under URL. I'm just going to paste that. Sorry, I don't know Apple.
It's commands.
He's going to paste it for me. I guess I need to learn Apples, guys. All right, so you post in the URL, and then you can name it whatever you want. I skipped the step of showing you guys how to make leaderboards, but I've been asked to make sure I cover this. When you're making leaderboards, when players play on your leaderboards, they can go onto their Stern app and they can see where their rankings are on the leaderboards they've played. But if your leaderboard has just a cute name, like flipping
High score leaderboard.
well, I've seen somewhere it's like clever names for each month, then the players don't know what leaderboard that was. So I've been told to ask, please put the name of your arcade or the venue, Nubs Pub, something like that in the name of it. Cute leaderboards are great, but it doesn't help people know where's that leaderboard that I just got knocked off of? Crap, I don't know where, the Halloween fun leaderboard's at. So.
And I like to name them monthly, yearly, so I can keep track as well. So that just helps people know which one they're looking at.
But now that I've gone on about names, where I'm typing in a name here, this doesn't have to be anything fancy at all because this is just you operator seeing it. If you're sharing it with somebody else who's helping you, you might want to put a name in that's going to be very clear to them. But this is just so that now that I've saved it, it's going to show up as solid state Nov for November, even though this isn't really November. I'm so used to setting up the next months that I named it November. All right, so it's generating a preview right now. I clicked on I should say more clearly what I did. I click on the thumbnail for it, and now I can change certain things like zoom. I have found that match plays big picture mode is too small on most screens, even our 55-inch screens. I will set the zoom to the maximum of 225, and if I have too many players, which is a great thing to have, but I believe over 16 players at that zoom, then while we're setting up And my announcements, I say, if you don't see your name on there, you're not in the tournament. Make sure you let me know before I hit start. And I give them going once, going twice before I start my tournament. So if they don't all fit, then I'll bring the zoom down. I go down to 175 when I'm doing finals, because if anybody's run a tournament where you do the finals with like group elimination and it shows the brackets, anything higher than 175, the last game doesn't really show up on. And on strikeouts, anything higher than 175, and you won't see the X's on the side once you start getting strikes. But I've played around different circumstances for different zooms. For the Insider Connected leaderboard, we're just going to do 100. And like I said, if this was really November, I would click here on the start date, and I would just start it on November 1st. But since this is the October one, I'm going to start it October 1st. And I just do midnight to midnight. I have found a quirk when you're making a Stern leaderboard that if you set it to November 1st at midnight to expire, it'll show up on the screen as the dates being October 1st to November 1st. And I know it sounds weird. We get some interesting players where they complain that they thought they had till November 1st to get on the top of the leaderboard, even though it ended at midnight in the morning on November 1st. So I've started having mine expire when I'm creating them on the Stearns IC website, 11:59 p.m. on the 31st or the 30th, the end of the month, just so there's no confusion on what it shows up there. But on this, again, this is what you're seeing is back end. No one else is going to see this, so I just have it expire at midnight. You can also, under actions here, when you first generate your preview image, if it's a leaderboard that's just started or your future scheduling it, it's going to show up blank. And every once in a while, it's literally on the preview, I might not be able to see it. It's showing the 4 circles for spinning. It's because our internet's slow enough. It's not able to generate the preview fast enough, and the preview is literally just a loading icon. Not a big deal. It's going to show up fine on your screens. So I've now made this website on the list. Now if you go back to the list of websites, there's Solid State November. So under groups here, I just clicked on the one group. You know what? Let me go back. You can add groups, and we'll call this one Solid State. And you can add an extra description if you want down there. No need for it right now. So now under Solid State, this is now a blank playlist. And I can click on, I've seen some people get confused on this because there's content and websites here. And at the top, there's the contents and websites. And as I've talked to some people over the phone how to do it, I wasn't realizing that they were still clicking on the top here. Right here, it's switching between what I'm putting on the playlist. So I switch to website here. I'm going to drag this over. And you can change in the settings what you want your default to be. It's 10 seconds right now for the time. So I'm going to drag over all of these, what I refer to them as ads. And what I don't want to do is I don't want to have a bunch of ads playing personally and then have the leaderboard going for like an hour and then 5 minutes of ads, because you're going to really, I've seen our players get really irritated about how long they have to wait to have the leaderboard come back up.
But having that community hub has helped with that because
Yeah.
they can just pull up their phone and see it in real time as well.
So what I'm going to do is I'm clicking on the 3 dots after the leaderboard, and I'm going to click duplicate this item, and I'm going to duplicate it again. And now I'm just clicking on the thumbnail and dragging it between some of those ad slides. So now I've got the leaderboard showing for 10 seconds, this thing about the October quest for 10 seconds, back to the leaderboard, then to, this is a minute one. I don't use this one a lot anymore because I don't like it. I found a smaller one, but it's Insider Connected creating an account. It's a good video to put up if you just get Insider Connected going on your location, because it shows very clearly how to scan the QR code that's on your game, and it even puts the QR code up there, and then shows everyone how to go through the steps of creating. Because I gotta tell you, there's people like when I've asked them like, why don't you get on the leaderboard?
You want to get this on the device? We've only got 5 minutes.
Okay. And I wish that entry of making that account could be something they knew a little bit more about, and that's the barrier. Once they've got the QR code, they're good to go. All right, real quick, we're going to get this going on here. So this is a brand new device. Of course, now it's going to load something else. All I have to do is sign in when you get out of the box. Sign into your whatever Google account. If you don't have a Google account, just make a Gmail account. You get signed into it, and then you go to the web store, after you go through everything they got here. All right, cool. So we're going to apps here. Now I'm going to search for AbleSign. And if you have the Google TV app on your phone, you can actually use the remote icon, and you don't have to use this remote. You can just use your onboard keyboard. So I'm going to do AbleSign and put that in for my search here. And I know you guys can, oh yeah, stupid. We're going to really quickly switch the HDMI port.
Right?
Yeah, hopefully it pops up. All right, cool. So I apologize. What you guys missed is I went to the apps tab on the Google TV home screen. So now I'm just going to click on AbleSign here. Oh, sorry, I missed the install. While it's installing, I'm gonna go to screens here for the next step. All right, so here is a code now. I'm gonna enter that code in there, but what I want to show you is while we're in this section here, you can press up on the remote and you get to this menu. The only thing you can do in the app is change whether it starts the app at boot up. Now, when you've got a website on, if you go up and down on the remote, it's actually going to scroll up and down the website. So I always say right here, when you got that code, then just go ahead and turn that on. So that's going to mean that when you power on your device in the morning, it's going to come on and fire up the website. I'm sorry, the AbleSign. All right, so that's turned on. Now we're just going to, again, hopefully nothing goes wrong. Switch back here and punch in that code. Should have taken a picture of the code, you guys. Nick was warning me. I love talking on stage, and he was warning me that doing stuff live can be terrifying. All right, well then I'm just gonna, listen guys, this is almost done. That's how simple this is. I'm punching in the code now. I'm gonna do Expo. I heard a moto give me words of courage back there. Thank you. All right, now I've got a screen here. I'm gonna click on the screen. Now I can just put stuff straight on that screen, but I don't want to do that. I want to go to my groups here, and I am going to add a screen. So I've clicked on groups, I've clicked add screen. Now I'm going to just check box that Expo one I made. It's saving it. Now,
You didn't save.
I didn't save. I made that whole playlist and I forgot to save
on there.
the playlist. So I'm just going to throw 2 things on and hit save. So pretty soon we should see this come up.
Well, it's going to be on that. Right?
Oh, on this. Sorry.
Here, we can, that's fine.
So once it comes up there, I will say that I recommend if you're doing the Stern one, for every 4 games, have your time be 10 seconds. So if you got 2 games, go for 20 seconds. I'm sorry, 8 games, 2 pages, go for 20 seconds. And if you've got, that gives it time for people to see that first page, find them on it, and then it moves on to the next slide. But here we go. I made it real simple, but this is just the one page of the leaderboard, then going on over. And that's it. It's done. That was way simpler. Like those of you who use AbleSign and Yodeck, is this simpler? I mean, I know we kind of went back and forth, but you guys saw me when we sat down, I opened this box. We let it do the updates. It created the account, threw it on, and we're ready to go.
All right, I think we're out of time.
Yes, you are.
But thank you guys. If anybody wants to ask us questions, come back there right outside. And if you're interested in winning the on box, meet us back there as well. Thank you, everybody.